So we've got all these problems down in Dover, and everyone's blaming the French and closing off the borders and all that kind of thing. But I've heard that it's a lot of it's to do with the fact that the Swedish have been putting barcodes on their ships, so when they come into the port, they have the Scandinavian.
God, man. I couldn't hear that last bit because of the scraping that was going on there. It just drowned that out.
I got absolutely fucking tons. I didn't know which one to pick. I mean, seriously, I've got loads. I'm overwhelmed. I've got enough to see me through to about April next year.
I don't know. I think that was a tier 4 joke, that one. I think we're going to put them into tears. And yeah.
It'll all end in tears.
Weirdly, to go along with the movie that we're reviewing tonight, if people in the future come back and listen to that, it'll be a pop reference that they won't get.
Yeah, and do you know what would be even funnier? It's more funny than the actual film we're watching, which is a comedy.
Was it?
Haha. Well, apparently, according to the notes.
Well, I heard it was produced by the Bee Gees because it was a tragedy.
Oh, God. Hang on. It's the Bee Gees. Stand there and do something non-Bee Gees like. And we'll just stare at you for 5 minutes. Oh, right. Okay, fine. That's it. Let's move on. Let's have another joke. Oh, sorry. I'm writing my next script called Musical Movie. Anyway, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Black Dog Podcast, episode 34. I'm Lee.
I'm Darren.
I'm Jim.
And I'm so very tired, but also Elton.
So Elton. That should be a new podcast, or maybe your
Oh,
biography.
God, not another one. No, can't do another
So
one.
Elton.
Chat show.
It's, yeah, that's it.
Work for Graham Norton.
Yeah, he's not doing anything on Radio 2 anymore. Go on.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
That's
It's sorted.
So Elton. That's it. There you go. In fact, we could have that as a whole section on our podcast.
Oh, God, not another section after me. Jeez.
Yeah, that's So Elton. So Elton. Anyway, welcome everyone to episode 34. We will be the last one for the year. Actually, the last podcast of the year. We won't be back until the 5th of January.
Oh man!
What are you gonna listen to? Now that you can't listen to Venezuela's 52nd most popular podcast under the movie category. I mean, really. What are you going to do with yourself? Anyway, we're going to be seeing how everyone's week's been this week. And then we'll be doing a tiny bit of feedback for last week's movie, which was Voyage of the Rock Aliens. And then we'll be moving on to the last of the Sadvent calendar movies, which was mine, which is an exercise in taking responsibility for your actions. Which was Disaster Movie, a film that was so bad that 87,000 people voted it 1 star on IMDb. It is the very bottom. Any further down and our ears would pop and we'd go through bedrock. So, before we get to that one, let's see how everyone's week's been. And we'll start with you, Jim. How has it been, sir?
Pretty good in the main. Both me and Teresa finished work on Friday,
Cool.
which is something of a first. Normally we're both working to Christmas Eve, and I'm normally doing podcast idiocy well into the 11th hour before Christmas. So obviously drawn a line with it this year. So effectively, every day's been sort of kind of like Christmas Eve, which has been really nice so far, actually. I had to sign a release form this week, so a track of mine can be included on an album. On the Cherry Red label, which I was very pleased about. It's a charity album, so I won't get any money, but still, that's pretty cool, being on a proper record.
Are you getting paid in exposure, Jim?
Well, it originally wasn't going to be on Cherry Red, because it was Jim Peters of Folk Horror Revival. He's a big Wickham Wanderers fan, and his young lads in the youth side, and one of the kids who got was kind of these weird viruses and kind of related to meningitis, drop dead. And so they're doing a charity record for children's hospitals in his memory, and he put the word out and asked various people, will you want to raise some money, do you want to throw in a track or help out or whatever? And he asked me, so I mustered up a track. And as it was, Wycombe Wanderers, they're actually sponsored by the Cherry Red record label, who are quite a big, long-established indie label. And they actually said, we'll actually, when they got wind of it, they said, we'll put it out. Because originally you were just kind of like bung it on Spotify and Bandcamp. So this week I got an email saying, you have to sign a proper release for this or make it legal above board. So that's quite exciting.
Shit. Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. And where can we get this album? What's
it's called A Song for Ollie, and it's not out yet. We're hoping to get it out before Christmas, but it'll be in the new year. But I'll update you when it hits the shops. It'll be a double
Excellent.
CD so it should be an interesting selection of talent on it anyway.
Congratulations.
Yeah, well done. Good work,
Yeah, man.
Jim. You're the first media professional we've had on this podcast.
Wow.
Yeah,
But
so you've
maybe
gone-
not for much longer. Do you remember last week I mentioned a magic potion?
Oh yeah.
Well, I consulted Dread Books of the Dark Arts, and I took it to another level. I successfully made my own Baileys this week.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't pay 14 quid for 70 centilitres. Do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get
Okay.
get an ordinary bottle of scotch. I recommend Jameson's or Famous Grouse. 70 centilitres will do it. You take half of it, so 300 millilitres, bung that in a blender. Add a carton of single cream, a can of condensed milk, 2 spoonfuls of drinking chocolate, a teaspoon of vanilla essence, and 2 teaspoons of coffee essence. I use the liquid Camp Coffee, popular for making coffee cakes. And you just whiz that in a blender for 30 seconds, and hey presto, you have a Baileys, which is actually better than Baileys.
Really? Oh.
Yep.
You couldn't have told me this. You couldn't have told me this like literally an hour ago. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I would have liked to have known last week. I bought a
Quick
big
to the
bottle.
shops. Oh,
yeah, I was
Chocolate orange Baileys I got in the fridge.
No, Carol's literally just drunk a glass of Baileys, and it's just like, yeah.
I haven't told you the best bit. This recipe, if you follow that, it's on the BBC Good Food. Is where I found it. They recommend adding a teaspoon of almond essence, but bollocks to that because everyone thinks you're just giving them arsenic. But I didn't bother and I didn't miss it. Put it that way. But it makes a litre and a half.
Bloody hell! And what's that? About £3 worth of ingredients, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I got a
apart
bottle
from
of
the
Famous
scotch.
Grouse for a tenner on Amazon, 70 centilitres. The cream and the condensed milk about $1.50 each. I had almond essence and I had the coffee extract and I had the drinking chocolate. So basically, factoring it all in, for still less than the price of one Baileys, you can make 3 litres of your own.
Wow.
so
Right, it's not
Plus,
going to
you
be
could
eternally
customise it
pissed.
as well to your own taste. If you want some orange essence or cinnamon, gnocchi, or blend up
cinnamon
some
Baileys.
strawberries into it. I don't know. The possibilities are endless. Piece of piss.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll brew up a batch of Black Dog Baileys for next year. It'll be full of chili, chili and despair. What's the taste of despair? Cool. Well, there you go. And next week, Jim will be coming to us live from his distillery. He'll be
Or
showing you how to
rehab.
make Jim.
Intensive care where he's having a stomach pump.
Where he'll be showing us how to make vodka from potatoes and insulin shots.
insulin shots from gummy bears.
Wow, you're
there you
out-
go. That's some proper guerrilla festive cheer for you all there.
Yeah, I'm liking that. I'm liking that.
Yep.
So,
Tis the
yeah, so
season to
you're-
fall over. Fa la 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 la. Sorry, officer.
Fa la 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 la, fucking hell. I love you. Fa la 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 la. Fucking, you're my best friend.
No cunts on me, Drugstable.
Cool. Oh, right. Okay. Well, so I think we'll leave that there. So, Elton, what about you, sir?
Okay, well, I won't go into the big news because the people that need to know, I already know, and so I will skip over that. But I did come to the end of my rewatch of The Office, of the United States version, and it was just at the right time because, man, I wailed on that. I was a mess.
You beat it like you owed you money.
Yeah. There was snot bubbles and tears everywhere. I couldn't believe it. You caught me at the wrong time, you bastards. You bastards. And normally when I come to an end of a season or series, I put on the internet, like Facebook or something like that. I'm coming to the end of this. I'm going to cry, aren't I? I'm so glad I didn't do that because, yes, there would have been pictures of me just going, yeah.
Was it proper ugly? Blob?
Yes,
was it proper?
It was disgusting. It was look at yourself in the mirror, like, oh my god, I look like that when I do that. Okay, fine.
I'm so ashamed.
That's making me cry even more.
Oh, you sound like Dougie Fresh there for a minute.
Yeah, we could do a joke about that. Just have him jump up and go, "I'm Dougie Fresh. I'm Dougie Fresh. I'm just Dougie Fresh," and then just walk off.
You know he's on Cameo, don't you? Dougie Fresh.
No.
Yeah, I went looking through Cameo to see who's on there. Dougie Fresh is on Cameo. I was going to get it for you, mate. I really was. And I was going to get him to sing, "Hey, yo, Doug, do that record jam on the groove." What?
Anyway. Sorry, Elton. In joke. Don't worry.
Okay. I don't know what Dougie Fresh is.
Dougie Fresh and the Get Fresh crew.
No.
Wow. It's like you weren't born in the early 80s.
No, that is. Oh, there's something else I have to look up now. Oh, gee.
No, you basically all you just got to do is go and just pretend you're rapping.
Oh, okay.
And then that's pretty much the 80s. That's it. 80s rap, not real rap.
Yeah.
Okay,
not
cool.
like now. Right. Anyway, so you've man-blubbed at the office.
Yeah, I did.
And been as ashamed of yourself as you possibly could be, and possibly if you've even leaked some mascara down your eyes in Panda Face.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, and to set that off, I watched 2 other films, just to balance it out. And one was very good, and one was utterly shite. But it was one of these movies where you're like, I need this right now. I'm I'm embarrassed, but man, I need this right now. And it has a connection with The Office as well. So the bad one was The Meg.
The Meg.
Steiff punches a shark.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the connection, it's got Rainn Wilson in it as well. So and it was just nice to see a familiar face so quickly. But it is utter bilge.
Yeah.
But I just had I had the best time just watching it. It was shit, but I just had the best time watching. I just needed it. I felt dirty after, but I was smiling.
I've done some questionable things in my time, but I need this.
Like Captain Kirk, I need my pain, damn it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And the other one was Moneyball as well, which is all about baseball. It's got Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill, is it? Yeah, Jonah Hill. That's quite good, actually. I was expecting more like Any Given Sunday or what's the Tom Cruise one? All the Right Moves, that sort of thing.
Maguire.
Yeah, Jerry Maguire as well. But where like the actual participants of the games are more the focal stars. But this is more like, no, this is about spreadsheets and stuff like that, and just numbers and trying to game the system. And I thought it was really good. It's not one that I will watch again and again, but it looks great. Cast is brilliant, flows really well. And I was I was really happy to watch it as well. So it was just one of them things where I just needed that. Something different, something a bit left field that I wasn't expecting. So, dived into that and really enjoyed that.
So for someone like, say, for example, not a million miles away from you, who may be talking right now, who doesn't like sports or sports ball or anything to do with sports whatsoever, would you recommend this, or is it just a bit too? Oh, we've got Fred on the 3rd and down, and he's got a punt on a little oobly over, and if he does 3 more roundies, then he might cause a bit of a flip flop.
Well, it has that sport element to it, but you could change it for any type, any sport really, where you're just looking at the numbers, basically watching someone play Championship Manager in the 90s. And just looking at spreadsheets and working out exactly how to do it. But I thought it was fascinating from that perspective. And I think, anyone else just going into it would enjoy it just for the sake of watching people trade in and stuff like that. So, it's a good watch.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I've heard lots of good things about it, but I've just... as soon as someone says it's a baseball movie, my first thought is just like, oh, God. It's going to end with a big sort of championship match and everyone's going to be invested in how this goes, and I don't understand the rules.
No, nothing like that at all. Nothing like... Okay. There's no dance-off at the end that they win type thing.
Nice. We're going to be regional.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Let's go to regional.
Yeah. There is that element to it of going into, like, playoffs, etc. But I don't really understand baseball, but really enjoyed it just for the sake of... Because the main character, Brad Pitt plays the main character. I think what's his name? Bean. I think he's called.
Mister?
No, not Mister. But I was thinking that all the way through watching it.
Jim.
And his character, he doesn't watch the matches, and so you're kind of watching the match with him, but you're listening to it, and you're just seeing his raw emotion going through the match, but you're not actually watching the match.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay,
really good.
And where did you see that? Was it on Amazon or something?
That was on Netflix. The Meg was on Amazon. If anyone's interested in that, don't. It's terrible, but you know, God, it's so fucking shit. It really is so fucking shit.
Yeah, but you know what? There's a type of movie, and maybe we should do a whole range of them. Maybe we should have a season of them where they're actually so bloody awful that they are actually fun. Like, so good they're bad, or action pap. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Films which you know on paper are complete bollocks, but you know what? You sit there and you're eating popcorn and you're going, oh, I'm quite enjoying this, because it's pressing all the buttons in your brain.
Yeah,
going,
exactly. Films that got you through moments.
Exactly.
That type of stuff.
Surprisingly good. Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah, because like, for example, Carol watches a film called Red, which is was it Bruce Willis and Helen Mirren and fucking Morgan Freeman and John Malkovich, and it's that Jerry action kind of thing, and it's just straightforward action rubbish, but you just sit there going, actually, this is quite fun.
Yeah.
And you just sit there kind of going, yeah, you know what? Yep. If I was sitting here with my film snob hat on, I'd probably sit here and just go all the way through.
I had that feeling from National Treasure.
Yeah.
For no reason whatsoever, but I just enjoyed it. It was like, oh, this is guff, but I'm still watching it and I'm having fun. I've got a smile on my face.
Exactly, that's it. Maybe we should try and find a few of those and do a few
the
of those.
Remake of Death Amazon. Race 2000.
A good example as well.
Yes, that one.
Yeah, that's a good example, because Death Race 2000 was absolute shite when we reviewed it.
Yeah, so it was a low bar, this one. I mean, it was so low they couldn't even limbo under it. That you know, so anything more.
That's Statham as well, isn't it? The remake.
Yeah, it is.
But I had a bit of a cognitive dissonance because it was also Paul W.S. Anderson. So I was like, oh, God, no. I don't know if I can handle this.
Why am I enjoying this?
Why am I enjoying this? What's happened to you, brain?
I feel dirty.
exactly. I had the dirty chicken moment, just like you did with Meg.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, cool. Okay. Well, maybe we'll have to have a little think about that. And if anyone thinks in the audience that's a good idea, let us know on the Facebook group.
Yeah.
Because that'd be quite fun. Anything else?
The last thing, I'm sure it's affecting us all at some point. And I was going to play a game of Play Your Tears Right. With the higher and lower, but I think we could all guess who's in the highs and who's in the lows. So,
oh God, yeah.
Fucking hell, that was a kick in my balls, and so I won't be spending the Christmas day with my mother. She'll be sat indoors on her own because that's the rule. So fuck you, everyone who hasn't helped out in this pandemic. Up yours, and I hope you die in a fire.
Yep. Oh, we see plenty of those, mate. Don't even get me started on that.
I'm sorry. I promised I wouldn't say anything, and here I am saying stuff.
No, don't worry. We're gonna get to my week in a minute. So, yeah.
Is it something along those lines, sir?
You might think so.
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't like to say anything, but you know. Yeah, selfish, two-faced. The fucking. Oh, my civil liberties! I mustn't wear a mask.
I'll wait until we get to your week, and I will just chime in. There, along with you, sir. Okay, because I've got my 2 penny worth as well.
Yes. There you go. Anyway, so you can't even have her as a part of your support bubble.
Well, she is part of our support bubble, but
well, then she can't. You can go and let's
I
find it.
know, but she's fucking terrified, mate. She's terrified.
Yeah, well,
I'm out working every day, meeting lots of different people with their fucking faces exposed, and I'm fed up. I can't say anything because I'll get lamped around the head, and she's terrified.
Can't you turn up and do that Love Actually thing with the boards? Hi, Mum.
No, because I'm always reminded of Boris doing that. So fuck that cunt.
Okay.
Oh God, Boris.
I believe he's flown to Brussels.
Sorry.
If he's got any sense, the cunt won't fucking come back.
Send him some Baileys, Jim.
I'll send him more than fucking Baileys.
If there's
seen the film Night of the Demon? Slip him some runes and get pulled apart on a railway track by a 20-foot monster. Fucking cunt.
Well, let's see. X-Lax is chocolate flavoured, isn't it? You could just say it's chocolate flavoured Baileys. Yeah.
Well, frankly, if there's any justice in this world, he won't be able to get through the fucking port and come back to us anyway. But anyway, a little bit of politics.
Sorry.
No, it's cool. Wow. Yes. I've been in full mode. And anyone who's been following the Twitter account may have noticed that I've been liking a few things, which is somewhat controversial if you're a Brexiteer, mask-averse fuckwit. And if you are, don't listen to us anymore, because I don't like you. Right. So anyway...
I got a feeling you got somebody on your chest, Lee.
Do you think? It might be an infection, I think. But anyway, let's get to you, Dal. How was your week, sir?
Oh, well, it's the exciting sort of, preparing for Christmas, stuff like this, just ordering, getting stuff in, and the last minute sort of ordering of some tech bits and bobs, because we are now in Tier 4 and we can't go and visit parents and stuff. So it's, having the amount of, having the right equipment to go ahead and make the Zoom calls for the opening of presents on Christmas morning and stuff like this. So I've got myself sorted with a really good conference mic, which turned up in a day, and we tested it out, and Jesus Christ, I could be in the house down the street and it could still pick me up. This thing, it's that good. It was about a tenner, I think this thing was.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely excellent. So there we go. And I've got a 3-meter HDMI cable on order as well to hook up to the laptop, get it all ready to go, so we can plug it into the TV. And well, there you are. So there is all that. Let's see, what have I done this week? Well, I've sat and I finally ploughing through the Raised by Wolves So I'm going through that, and I'm about 3/4 of the way through that series. Yeah, still very much enjoying it, and just just taking in the weirdness of some of it, and just going, "Yep, I accept this totally." I'm just going with it. It's like
it gets weirder.
Yeah, it's like Stephen King's Dark Tower. I just accept it after a while. Yep, right, fine. These are the powers that this thing's got. Fine, I'm accepting this, and I'm loving certain bits of the darkness in some of the flashbacks as well, and just the opening titles as well. Just the opening titles, the way they're done, I love those. It's got quite a real sort of dystopian look about that as well. So yeah, that's good. Yesterday I thought I'd have a bit of a was it day before? I needed a bit of nostalgia, needed a classic to watch, so I whacked on. Oh, for God's sake, I've forgotten the bloody. See, it's gone. See,
Alzheimer's.
Yeah, it's Alzheimer's. Woohoo! No, Galaxy Quest. Galaxy Quest. I put that on, had that playing in the background, and when I should have been doing something else, my attention that was it. I looked on the Galaxy Quest and sat there watching that. It's such a great film. I love it. I've got to watch the documentary as well. Was it?
Which is on? It's on Amazon.
Yeah, it's the
isn't it?
same thing. I think that's where I watched Galaxy Quest. I think that was on Amazon as well. So that was all Prime. So didn't have to pay any extra for that, which is good. And this week in the world of computer games, I took a bit of a step back in time and went back to playing the enhanced version of Arkham Asylum. Batman Arkham Asylum.
Well, it wouldn't be Joker Arkham Asylum.
It could be. You never know. It could be a spin-off on that. Who knows? But yeah, I got the sort of like the bit with all the whizzy bang graphics on it and whatever. Doesn't make that much of a difference to it, but it's still nice to go back and play a decent Batman game.
Cool.
And whatever. So yeah,
scare people.
And scare.
That was always my fun bit, when you scare people by just whipping them away in the shadows.
Yeah, you see their status change to terrified. That's it. From calm to terrified, all in one go. Loosened bladder. There we go.
See, because that's how Batman works. He's a detective, and he works more about fear than he does about beating people up and swearing. Zack Snyder, please take note, because fuck it. Oh no, Batman swore. Oh, it's so adult.
Yep. And he doesn't have to gargle with a cup full of razor blades either to get the voice. It's just like, he talks like this. Kevin Conroy, best Batman voice ever.
Yeah, best Batman.
Best Batman ever. Yeah. None of this. Because I'm Batman. How did you get into Gotham? No, don't ask him that. Because I'm Batman.
That sounds like you're making jokes from this film we reviewed this week.
You think it would be though,
just saying the name over and over again.
No, I watch. There's quite a good little animated series on YouTube. It's the one with Superman and Batman sitting in a cafe having coffee.
Oh, the How It Should Have Ended.
Yeah, I love those. They're brilliant. Love them. I've done quite a few of those in the past week as well. So very much enjoy watching those. So apart from that, I think that's about it really. Apart from, of course, Ree got tested for COVID and it was negative, of course. So yay, we're all good in the household, all good in the hoods.
Nice.
Not infected. So, long may that continue.
Yes. Long may it continue. Well, good. All taking your precautions and doing the right thing. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, it's like some of those post-apocalyptic films I've seen. Where they come through into an antechamber and they get scrubbed down with hot water and bleach and stuff like that. That's what it's like in my house.
Like a sheep dip.
Yep, that was before COVID came along as well. But I'm not saying I'm obsessed.
Yeah. When the lights dim and you hear and then all of a sudden you hear the sound of the sheep dip being filled.
Time to get out the hose. Gotta love it.
Oh dear. Well, anyway, okay then. Well, my week, it'd be very quick, really. I'll do video games first, since that's where we were last. I'm still playing Ghost of Tsushima, which I am finding to be a lot more fun now. That I've got all my skills and all my samurai moves, and basically being an absolute badass, running through people and doing proper Kurosawa, sort of standing there. One bloke makes a swing, and you just go and chop, and down he goes like a sack of spuds. Or in the case of what I do now, which is basically flick wind chimes underneath fiery braziers, which they use for lighting the streets. And then I shoot the brazier with an arrow and set everyone on fire. It's brilliant.
What about your enemies?
It's very cathartic. Outside of that, some films we've been watching. Katie's been at home for reasons I will explain in a minute. Do a lot more than normal, and basically she's been sort of working her way through some movies on a list that have been recommended over the years for someone who's very deeply into her action pappy sort of mid-80s, early 90s movies. So we watched something that was a little earlier than that, and it was Escape from New York.
Ooh.
Hey. And actually, I think, it's dated in some ways, but it actually still holds up very well. So that was really good. I was quite pleased with that, because I was thinking, oh, God, no, this is going to be absolutely toe-curling. But no, it's still good. Snake Plissken, I thought you were dead. Go get the hell out. Yeah, so that was good. And then she moved to the other end of the scale and watched Escape Plan with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And
Stallone as well, isn't it?
Stallone, yeah.
I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah, I think that's another one on that list of films that are just absolute bollocks, but you just sit there going, fine, I'll just eat some more popcorn and let the brain take me away. So, yeah, that was fine. So we watched that. I think we watched something else as well. I can't remember what it was. I'll remember it at some point. Oh no, we watched Last Action Hero.
Oh, really?
And do you know what? I realised I had seen so many bits of it, but I've never actually seen it all the way through.
Really?
Yeah, I've never seen it all the way through, and I've got to say, it's got all the usual problems of a late 80s, early 90s movie. It makes zero sense. The fucking action is just relentless, and it takes the piss out of itself an awful lot. But it's actually a remarkably cine-literate film. I would never have expected an Ingmar Bergman reference with Ian McKellen as Death swanning through LA, swanning through New York. In black and white, in an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie about people who come through cinema films screens. So it was silly. Again, it wasn't anything I'd ever sit there and call a stone cold classic. But I for something I don't remember seeing all the way through. I just sat there like, this is all right. It's fun.
It's one of my guilty pleasures, that one.
The one bit I will say I really did enjoy was the bit when Arnie comes back through from filmland to reality, and then decides that he wants to play chicken. That was actually a moment. That was a moment where I think I for the first time in a long time I've done a genuine surprised belly laugh, where he thinks that by driving straight at the guy driving at him, because of the way movie logic works, the other person will swerve out the way. And you just get this shot down an alley of the car driving away, all tyres screaming, and all of a sudden it just goes, sudden stop, all the lights go off, and it fucking bounces up in the air and just comes to a sudden stop. The way it was filmed was infinitely funnier than anything we watched in this film for the review. I sat there in tears for about 5 minutes, because it was just one of those, I thought, I know where this is going, but the way they filmed it, and it just went, And it just stopped. It was like, oh my God, that was really funny. Because I was expecting them to cut away from it or something. But anyway, so yeah, that was an interesting watch for me as much as anything. What else? Oh yes, well, you know, we got a lovely little present from the government today, a couple of days ago, which was that Katie got a notification on the Track and Trace app to say that she's been been in contact or in the area of someone who's been diagnosed with COVID.
Lovely.
So she's had to go into 7 days of lockdown, where she can't even leave the house. And it's like, okay, so we're sitting there trying to work it out, and we're going, okay, so where did you get it? Because like you've literally only been to the school, and she helps out at a swimming pool because she's learning how to be a teaching assistant for really young kids swimming pool thing. And and then suddenly we realised that if you walk back to the start of the 7-day isolation, that's exactly where she was, at the swimming pool. And and then I suddenly started remembering, because I had to drive her to the pool, and I drove her to the pool, and we're sitting in the car waiting for the pool to be unlocked, and there's literally a row of parents standing one behind the other, all without masks. Every single fucking last one of them. And then the only way she could get in to unlock the pool, Katie could get in to unlock the pool, and was to go past all of these fucking numbnuts. And she was wearing a mask, and she has to wear a face mask in the pool. And if she's actually in the pool, you have to wear one of those, one of those plastic shields.
Yeah.
So you have to wear one of them. So she's been shielded, but because these fucking idiots, clearly one of them's got it.
Yeah.
Which means that entire row's got it. Now, that means that I can't visit my parents because my dad is in extreme vulnerable category. I can't even go within fucking 100 yards of him. We were planning on doing the one day Christmas, just popping in, saying hello to them. Can't do that. And so that's fuck that then. And so she's no longer isolated after the day after Boxing Day. And so that was fucking great. That was. So
3 hours later.
Anyway, right. Let's get away from that. Let's get back to normal. I think try and get back on track. I can't think of anything. Let's do some feedback. The feedback for last week's movie. I've wrenched my neck. We turned the corner so fucking hard.
The car slammed into the curb, didn't it? There. Oh dear.
Exactly. Were you injured making a podcast at home? Fucking whiplash off of that. Right. Anyway, the feedback. We reviewed last week. Jesus. We reviewed last week Voyage of the Rock Aliens, which was the least most ridiculous thing to happen to us all last week.
Yeah.
And we were talking about musicals in general, and one of the feedbacks came from Jack Woodgate, who actually said regarding musicals, the ones that he goes for are Moulin Rouge, which we didn't remember. Would anyone have picked Moulin Rouge?
I really enjoyed Moulin Rouge, actually. I thought
cool.
That was a good movie, yeah. I completely slipped my mind.
Yeah, it's a strange one, Moulin Rouge. It's one of those ones you kind of, once you're watching it, you're kind of like, yeah, okay, that's fine. But when you think about watching it, you just think, oh my God, this is like eating like a whole cheesecake to yourself. It's like, I don't know if I can get into this, but I'm gonna give it a go. But he continues, Fiddler on the Roof and Paint Your Wagon. Do you know I've never seen Paint Your Wagon?
Never seen either of them.
I was born under a wandering star.
Yeah, exactly. Muppet Christmas Carol.
Oh, I watched that this week. Yes. Yes.
See, I can't handle that. I can't handle that at all. I can't handle Muppet movies full stop. Just no.
Muppet season.
Fuck. Oh, do you know what? If we did Muppet season, it would just be me foaming at the mouth and just injecting insulin straight into my heart, because it's just, that's all it is. It's just condensed sugar. The rainbow connection. I'm sitting on a lily pad. Oh, isn't it twee? Let's stick some more Vaseline on a fucking lens. Anyway, and also possibly, Jack continues, as a bit of a stretch of the definition of musicals, Labyrinth, another fucking Muppet movie. And now this is the one where it all suddenly takes a left turn, like I just did. The Wicker Man.
Huh?
What?
Jim, do you want to take a view on this?
It's not a musical, I'd say, but it's kind of. I did hear many years ago someone's like Casablanca is such a great film because it's actually almost a musical. Because I like The Wicker Man, and that's true. The Wicker Man, they've both got a lot of music and songs in them, but I would say they just fall short of that of being what I consider to be musical cinema, if you know what I mean. Because it's, I think the dividing line is you've got the songs have to drive the story. As I said last week, I think the textbook musical ones for me certainly is Nightmare Before Christmas. Very little dialogue in that. The songs tell you everything. Or Little Shop of Horrors, which you raised, which also is similar. There's very little dialogue in Little Shop of Horrors. It's all told through the songs.
Through the songs, yeah.
Whereas like The Wicker Man and Casablanca is kind of, they've got a lot of great music in them, but it's still a proper film. Not a proper film, but you know what I mean? It's still not a musical.
Yeah.
Willy Wonka as well?
Oh, yeah. But again, is that a musical, or is it just like musical interlude?
I think that's musical infused in Willy Wonka, because I said most of it's dialogue driven. I said that's my personal marker. If the songs outweigh the dialogue, you're in musical territory. You know, you're over the rainbow, Dorothy. But
you're not in Kansas anymore.
But you know, kind of if it's the other way round, I mean, it's like you couldn't say, like, you could argue Pulp Fiction in musicals. There's tons of songs in that, but it's not. You know.
Cool. No, that's a fair point. Maybe we should do a musical month. God.
I'm doing Tommy
or
then.
A nearly musical month.
Oh God, nearly musical month. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, Good Morning Vietnam. We'll have that one.
Yeah, that'll count. Yeah,
exactly. That count.
Great soundtrack. That
film. Yeah. Okay, moving on with the feedback. Sean Gleason takes credit for the Voyage of the Rock Alien.
It was him, yes.
It was him, saying, "I'm glad I shared this on the page." He was on the Facebook page, by the way. I have viewed this movie twice since I found it, and gladly will put it on the keep shelf along with Hedwig and the Angry Inch, Rocky Horror, Tromeo and Juliet, and Earth Girls Are Easy. Whew. Okay, we need more movies like this. We all know Michael Berryman, Chainsaw, but Wallace Merrick, the knife-wielding breather, had a long career, including the Super Mario Brothers movie. Bloody hell. Well, that's probably why I didn't recognise him, because, frankly, my eyes rolled into the back of my head in a coma attempt to escape from Super Mario Brothers, but wow, okay. Well, Sean, you're a braver man than I for owning up to that. That's all I'll say. Some of those suggestions. Hedwig and the Angry Inch. Has anyone seen that?
No.
I think I have, but I maybe been very drunk at the time.
Yeah. All I know is Earth Girls Are Easy is not a film we are ever going to review in a hurry. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think I've ever watched that, but then again, I could have just blotted it out of my memory, you know.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum and Jim Carrey in blue fursuits is probably the best description, with Gina Davis.
Beautiful, man.
And finally on this movie, we have Martin Thompson, who says, "I'm with Jim on this one. I had a lot of fun with this movie. It gets off to a slow start. I even stopped the playback to put something else on just to check my Wi-Fi wasn't playing up due to all the slow-mo in the video." However, there's a sense of fun and lunacy that you only get in the 80s, and we seem to have lost that. Not only that, but Not that I would want to get every film to be like this, and I don't plan on ever seeing this film again. Okay. I would certainly take this over Freddy Got Fingered. Well, who wouldn't? Which was a very mean-spirited movie. While this was fun with local teen hangout, actually called the Local Teen Hangout and the Heidi High. I'm also a fan of politeness in extreme circumstances, so the girl helping the murderer fix the chainsaw was enjoyable. As Jim said, it feels like someone flipping through the TV channels. So there you go. Well, thank you very much for that. We did have some feedback for the Disaster movie as well. But I don't know if we should leave that till next year when the sting has faded. Right, so before we move on to the review, one last thing I just remembered that I was going to say for my week to just take it away from the rage. Well, not from the rage, because I've got a different rage. But I did finally catch up and finish the latest season of The Mandalorian.
Okay.
Has everyone seen that yet?
I have, yes.
Nope.
Okay,
I might do
fine.
I've stayed away from it up until now. But having heard so much good about it in the second season, it might be binge watched over the holiday season as a bit of a treat.
Okay, cool. In which case, I will not use my joke, which I was going to use to close this out. Damn it! You ruined. Oh,
you can whisper it in my ear. Go on, whisper it in my ear, Lee. Go on.
I will do when everyone goes to make a cup of tea between the jingles. Right. Okay. So that just leaves us now to roll the jingle, because we are going to do The Last of Sadvent, which is my choice. Yes, I take responsibility for this, regardless of the choice on fucking battleships, and it was Darren who hit it, but it is Disaster movie. Roll the jingle.
My God, Bones, what have I done?
Disaster Movie is a 2008 American. Now, hold on, I've got to read this because it really seems it's not sinking in. Parody comedy film. Written and directed by Jason Freeberg and Aaron Seltzer. It stars Matt Lantier, Vanessa Minnillo. Doesn't really matter because we're never going to know about these people.
Melissa never worked again.
Gary G. Thang Johnson, Krista Flanagan, Nicole Parker, Ike Burney-Knowles, which sounds like an actual medical condition, Carmen Electra, Tony Cox, and Kim Kardashian. I've had Ike Burney-Knowles as well. But then again, that's because I eat a lot of chili jam. So anyway... it was released in August 29th, 2008, and is a parody, supposedly, of a disaster movie genre and popular culture, because we all know a lot of this stuff, don't we? The film was universally panned by critics and audiences alike for its forced humour, excessive pop culture references, and poor directing, with many considering it to be the worst of any movie created by Seltzer and Freeberg, as well as being one of the worst films of all time. The movie received 6 nominations from the 29th Golden Raspberry Awards and grossed how much from a budget of $20 million? Darren.
I really couldn't give a shit.
Okay. Jim.
3 rabid chipmunks.
Okay.
Man.
Elton.
I don't know. I'm going to go serious. 4 million.
Okay, so you think they had a budget of 20 and they earned 4?
Yeah.
Well, rather dispiritingly, it actually earned 34.8 million at the box office.
Did it make a profit?
Well, that's 14 million more than the budget. So yes,
I don't want to live in a world where that made a profit.
I think we are, and that's why we're in the shit we're in at the moment. Frankly,
oh man.
Interestingly, the wiki, once you get past the plot, has a larger entry for parodies than it does for writing, which is worth mentioning. But I tell you what, before we go too far, hold on to your hats, everybody, because Freeberg and Seltzer, who Seltzer, is it Seltzer? Yeah, Freeberg and Seltzer,
Alka, as I call it,
Seltzer, who made such other things as date movie, scary movie, epic movie, disaster movie, vampires suck, starving games. Yeah, they're actually making a new movie, right?
Oh, really?
And I think we should go and see it as soon as we can. It's called Star Worlds Episode XXXIVE equals MC squared. The Force Awakens: The Last Jedi Who Went Rogue.
Okay, yes, I'll be second in line for that.
Yeah, out of the 2 people actually going to the cinema to see it.
Yes.
I don't want this to be the thing that takes me out. No.
Imagine if that was the last film you ever saw.
Imagine if this was the last film we ever saw.
Oh, man, no.
We've got to watch something, anything. I'll tell you what, we're thinking about it.
Just an advert. An advert, please.
Yeah. Hey, Crusader, have you any nuts? Why? No. What film will be the first palate cleanser straight after we finish with this podcast? What one will you watch? And you can all think about it. Which one will be the first thing you watch once we're done with this film and done with this podcast? Full stop for this year. Have a little think about it.
Well, I think I watched, after I finished watching this, I watched The Room, because that made me feel a lot better.
Nice. Anyway, all right. Well, let's. I think this is pretty much a foregone conclusion, but top line review. What did you quickly think about it? And have you seen this piece of shit before? And if so, why did you agree to see it again? So, Jim.
I've not seen it before. I will never see it again. I will assiduously avoid anything made by the cunts responsible.
Nice. Cool. And what did you think of this film?
I fucking hated it. Not as much as Freddy Got Fingered. But Jesus Christ. That was I'll get into it later, but
yeah.
Kind of like...
Yeah.
It's another movie that got made where someone didn't know how to tell a joke.
Yes.
And if they did have a joke, they milked it till the tits squeaked.
Nice. Because I'm like lactating, because that's funny. Anyway. So, Elton, what about you, sir?
Well, just before I give you my one-line review, did you know this is your second disaster movie of this Black Dog 2?
Is it?
Disaster Artist.
Oh, very good.
So I'm looking forward to the third installment in this franchise.
Disaster Artist, disaster movie. I don't know. I'll have to find something else with disaster in the title, I think.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do. Oh God. Oh well. Yes. I'll look that up while you carry on then. So what's your?
So my top line on this. This was painful. This was very, very painful. I have things to say about it, but my top line is painful. I've never seen it before. I never, ever want to go anywhere near this again.
Okay.
Or anyone that's ever seen it. I just don't want to go anywhere near anyone now. No, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Ugh.
Right. Fine. It's all looking good so far. Darren, what about you?
This was just as funny as Freddy Got Fingered.
Oh, that's it, is it?
I was going to do a review of Die Hard because I don't really want to talk about this film because, you know, it's like one of them things, isn't it? You know, when you have a really nasty accident or, like, you know, you're witness to something that's really quite terrible and you don't really want to talk about it because it will just keep you there in the moment. You try and get over it because you've had therapy and stuff. You've sat there talking to some bloke in an office or on Zoom, you know, trying to get through it. So you have nightmares and your mental health is now starting to suffer because, well, you've thought about that thing again, that film you watched, you know, the one that was just not. I've never not laughed at something so much.
Right.
That's it. That's my review. I've never not laughed at something so much.
Right. Okay.
I'm sure even things like, you know, films like Schindler's List probably had a moment of levity in it, but this didn't. This was, you know, I'm sure there's probably in things like Dancer in the Dark. There's probably moments of happiness in that before it gets all dark. But there's nothing in the film. I watched it. It's just what am I watching?
Why am I watching it?
What am I watching? It didn't take me more than 30 seconds to want to tune out and just not. No. Sorry, it's not a one-line review, I know, but it's just like one of them things, isn't it? You can't just slice someone across the belly there and hope that no guts fall out, because once you do that, then they all come out at the same time, and you just can't put them back in and stuff, and there's and things, and you get it's like your hands are all bloody, and you can't stop the flow of intestines as they slide through your fingers, and oh look, sausages. No, it's just.
And then I said to the sergeant, I said, wow, look at my legs. Where are my legs?
Exactly. and
he's going, Sarge, why I can't feel my feet? I can't get my fucking legs.
You know, there's been more laughs in this pandemic than there's been in this film.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
It's just a void. It's a void. It's a void. It's a void. It's a big sucky void. It's like a big sucky void of joy, right? Any joy you've experienced, it just goes straight in. It's just, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take that as not being happy with it then. I'll take that as that.
If you want to think of it like that, then yeah, okay, sure.
Cool.
That's the impression you get.
By the way, just so everyone knows, the next film, which has disaster in the title after searching IMDb, is The 12 Disasters of Christmas, apparently.
Oh, jeez.
Which is 3.6 on the IMDb scale. On the Richter scale. Yeah. The ultimate countdown to holiday mayhem, a global cataclysm of tornadoes, volcanoes, and killer twinkle lights threaten a small mountain town during Christmas.
Oh.
There you go. From the makers of Christmas Ice-tastrophe, apparently.
You know, I've had I can't even fucking pronounce it now. Endoscopies that have been funnier than this.
I was going to say, yeah, my review is going to be something very along the lines of my last prostate exam was funnier than this, but I think it's about the same.
Yeah.
It was a pain in the arse, and I had to basically not look myself in the eye while it was happening.
But at least the doctor took you for dinner first, you know.
Yeah, I didn't want to look at any reflective surfaces while this was going on. What have I done? I mean, it was like Doctor Who in the Water of Mars. I saw what I'd done, and I just was like, I've gone too far. I've gone too far.
What have you done?
What have I done?
Yeah. Think about what you've done. God, it's a bit like, it's like Edgar Allan Poe's Taily Heart. That's what it is. It's like Telltale Heart. You stick the DVD under the floorboards, but you can still hear it spinning. It gets louder and louder.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, what is it about this that makes this different? See, because one thing I was trying to get my brain on was, why is it parody films like Young Frankenstein and Airplane and Naked Gun, why do films like that work, whereas films like this don't? Apart from
one was made by talented people and the other was made by cunts. Sorry, using complicated film criticism terms there, but
Well, listeners, enjoy your Christmas and your New Year. We'll see you on January the 5th. Good night.
Yeah, good night. Thanks for tuning in. Do leave your feedback. Well, actually, don't, because I don't think I really want to know if anyone's actually watched this film. I can't live with the guilt.
Just remember, people, if you watched it, you did it on your own free will. We didn't force you. We had no photographs of you in a compromising position. You just did it.
But I mean, seriously though, for 1 second, I mean, what is it? What makes this different? Because the thing is, in principle, these do exactly the same as those parody movies. They are parodying a thing. So,
but the thing is, this isn't though, is it though? That's the problem with this.
No.
It managed to miss the mark of disaster movies. Well, the kids don't watch disaster movies because it was a 70s thing. High School Musical? Well, I didn't like it. I think it might have been a disaster. Let's do that.
I'll tell you why. Right? I'll tell you why this fails. Because there is no reason for anything that appears. There's no. It's just someone's gone, put that in. I'll tell you what, it's like somebody's written all the funny things down, right? All the stuff they wanted to do. They've written them down on a set of cards, right? White cards. They've taken those cards, they've shuffled the deck, and it's just like, right, okay, we need to put something in here. Okay, so what are we doing? Right, okay, what's this on the next card? Amy Winehouse, right. Why? Because the card said so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's good enough. Yeah, just fucking do it. There's nothing.
I had the impression the script was actually just like notes for someone said, insert joke here about ...
Refer to cards.
But they didn't actually write the joke. And then it kind of just, you had times where literally kind of, haha, right, we've told you the notes for a joke. That was funny, was it? I'll tell you what, we'll keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it for about 10 minutes because for Christ's sake, we've only got maybe 10 minutes of material in this shitty movie.
And it's a product of what do they call it? It's not. The jokes in it are very kind of. It's like at the end, that bit where they start singing that song on fucking Matt Damon. If you hadn't watched the Jimmy Kimmel show with that on it, you wouldn't know what that was about.
Oh, is that from there?
Is that where it's from?
Yeah, because it was Jimmy Kimmel who was going out with what's her face, Sarah Silverman, right? And then they broke up, and then they've got a pretty good sort of sense of humour about it, and they made a whole thing about the fact that she was fucking Matt Damon, and they did a whole song, and Matt Damon was on it, and they did this.
Right.
This thing to pretend to taunt him. It was Jimmy Kimmel. Was it Jimmy Kimmel? No, not Jimmy Kimmel. One of the Jimmys that does a fucking talk show in America.
Right. But nevertheless, the point is...
Osmond.
Jimmy Osmond. Jimmy Savile.
Jimmy Savile, yeah, there we go. Yeah, why not?
Oh, Jesus.
Because I'm fucking Matt Damon. Now then. Jingly jangly jewelry.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the other thing. I mean, how did you actually recognise half the shit that was in there?
I've recognised most of it, and the film kind of lost me at the Armageddon opening straight away. It was like, oh, okay. Already you're hitting me in the face with a parody joke. And that's what this is. It's just a patchwork quilt of pop culture references that aren't sewn in any logical order. It's not a quilt anymore. It's some sort of fucking Rubik's Cube I have to climb into to keep warm. And it's shit. It's utter garbage. Whereas you talk about Aeroplane and Naked Gun, they have a story set out. They have the bones and the structure there. And they know that it is a funny situation. Let's go with Airplane because I know it the best. It's you're on a flight and you have your ex-fighter pilot, and then other things happen throughout the plane, etc., and stuff happens on the ground, and it's thought about. It's methodical in its presentation as well, and someone cares about it. That's is I've never liked these types of movies where they take. Like Scary Movie, that first one came out, and I think I saw half of it, and I just no, this ain't for me. And I made my peace with it as well. Just decided no, these aren't for me. Someone else likes these, and they can have fun. And I have mates that enjoy these movies, but I just don't watch them because there's no care and attention to them. It's just. Here's a reference, you get to laugh at that because we've made a reference of it. And if you don't get the reference, then we'll say the name of the person in that reference just so we ram it home so you know exactly what we're on about. Yeah. And that is not funny. You saying, oh, there's Hannah Montana, if you don't know who that is. Yeah. Oh, it's not Hannah Montana. Oh, it's Miley Cyrus because it's taken off the wig, if you don't know who that is. That is not funny. That is not... There's no care and attention to that.
You know what? I've got a line from Airplane, right? And this is it. This is the wonder, right? This is how brilliant Airplane is, right? You don't even need to watch what's going on screen to get it. It's all play on words, right? It's like, somebody told me what happened from the beginning. Well, first the Earth cooled, and then the dinosaurs came along, and then they died, and they went... And it's just like, fuck me, that's absolutely fucking brilliant.
But then using that, that gag works on two levels because firstly it's ridiculous, but secondly it's working from a position of that's what usually happens in those kind of movies with a guy walking along trying to get the information and bring the audience up to date. Yeah. It's the walk and talk exposition thing that you get in most disaster movies, especially those airport ones.
And it's delivered so well in that.
And I guess that's the thing, isn't it? It stays on brand. It's doing a disaster movie about a disaster and doing one disaster as opposed to just throwing shit at a screen.
And that other thing, what was it? Surely you don't mean it. Yes, I do. And don't call me Shirley.
Exactly. Yeah. Which again is a play on words as opposed to just throwing something crass up on the screen.
Yeah.
I mean, did anyone even remotely laugh at any of this?
Not at all.
Right.
I did once.
Go on.
I'm quite ashamed of it as well.
No, it's cool. I've got one.
Do you feel dirty?
I do, yes. I really do. There was a bit where Alvin and the Chipmunks were they're doing their little dancey thing.
Right.
And it was getting monotonous. It was driving me insane. I was like, for fuck's sake. And then they start attacking like by jumping. And there's a moment where Alvin's jumping and screaming and hollering. You're like, okay, that's kind of crazy. And then all three of them are right next to each other, just screaming. And it was that split second there. It had me for that. It was a teeny tiny bit, but I chuckled.
I did laugh at the Chipmunks. At first, I thought, this is tedious. But when they went black metal,
yeah.
that did get me.
Yeah.
And that was the only kind of move that had sort of like some energy to it.
Yeah, that's right.
But even that, they milked that far too long.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Even the clever jokes just fucking die on their arse, and I'm saying clever jokes in inverted commas here.
Well, the thing is, like the Miley Cyrus joke. I mean, the thing is, so much of the humour in this was just kind of they're the kind of inverted commas jokes the unfunny person down the pub tells you. He's like, why don't anyone know Clark Kent Superman just wearing glasses? And you're like, yes, we know. Everyone's made that observation. We all made it when we were 6. Like the Hannah Montana thing. Yeah, that's the least funny thing you could possibly say. You know what I mean? And it was full of material like that. And also just a lot was just kind of, there's a strain of American humour, and it's all tied up with that, you know, the your mama kind of snaps or whatever they call it, the kids of the youth today. But, you know, but a lot of it's it's very masculine, it's toxic, and it's all about like, hey, oh, she's a whore, ha ha ha. Or she's such a slut, ha ha ha. Or I'm pimping her out, ha ha ha. And it's like, why don't you Neanderthals fuck off and die?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People get the knickies into this about Carry On films, but they never snoop to that sort of misogyny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're just going, ha, I called this woman a whore, and that's funny. No, it's not.
Yeah. I mean, that's interesting you bring up the Carry On films, because that was where I was thinking. I was thinking, do you know, people look on, you know, people who are looking to be outraged by things from another time, you know, because as much as you don't want to apologise for stuff, but you have to kind of just say, okay, fine. Things have happened in the past. Some people are not proud of them. Some people don't accept them. That's perfectly cool. But you've got to at least accept that they exist. Otherwise, denying they exist is just a hiding to nothing. So, you know, Carry On films exist. You might like them, you might not, whatever. But then you get to 2008 and there's this shit.
Yes,
and you're
exactly.
going, hang on. So this is fine. This isn't going to get called out at all. But Sid James going, you know, with a fucking Swanee whistle while Barbara Windsor's boobs pop up, that's outrageous. You know, let's condemn this. But over here, there's a guy literally talking about, you know, doing gay stereotypes while shouting, "I'm Beowulf."
Yes.
And doing a guy up the arse, and then someone else, and then there's fucking a little short guy dressed as Indiana Jones, basically trying to get hold of someone's arse. That's fine. That's all fine. You know, he's literally sticking his finger up a ring piece, but that's
but
fine.
it's edgy. It's edgy.
See, that's the thing, you know, and that's where you kind of go, hang on. Where's it all gone wrong here? Where's the standard gone?
Well, the thing is, it's kind of in that vein of humour, which I do get is very American and adolescent and juvenile. Though there's British equivalents of it, you know what I mean? What's that? Oh, dapper laughs and bullshit like that.
Oh,
you
God,
know.
yeah.
But, you know, a while ago I heard Greg Davis talking on a podcast with Richard Hevin. I think, no, it wasn't. It was with Ray Peacock and Ed Gamble, and he was saying, the thing with comedy is because they were talking about what's offensive in comedy, what isn't. He said the thing in good comedy, you can do all kinds of terrible things, but the point is you can't win as the character. You have to lose.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Because kind of in the Carry On films, yes, they're very sexist, but Sid James and all the men who are leering after these women are portrayed not as great heroes. They're portrayed as fucking sad old men.
Yeah.
And failures. They don't win.
No.
Whereas in this movie, it's all like, you know, young bros and ha ha ha, I totally owned you, dude. I called your mum a hoe. Ha ha ha. I just, you know, made fun of this guy's sexuality in a way that really wasn't funny at all. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, no, the wrong person's winning. You know what I mean? It's punching down.
Yeah.
I can't. Actually, there's several things in this film just made me really angry. You know what I mean? That kind of this shouldn't be acceptable now. You know what I mean? This is nasty stuff.
Yeah, I think for me, you and Elton have basically hit on the real crux of the whole thing. I mean, it's apart from it being puerile and nonsense, it's the fact that it's mean-spirited. In every conceivable way. It doesn't just show contempt for the characters or contempt for the situation or anything, but it shows active contempt for the actual audience. Because it kind of it acts in a way that says you don't understand what you're being shown. So, firstly, I'm going to get a really piss-poor actor, and they are literally going to shout straight into the screen, Miley Cyrus, in case you didn't know who the fuck that was. Then they're going to go, and then as soon as you get to that joke, they're going to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and repeat and repeat. It's not funny. There's a rule of thirds. Rule of 3. Do it 3 times and you're done. Get out. Mm-hmm. That's the worst. That's the worst situation in comedy. You do it 3 times, you get the fuck out. Because if it's not working, then you're not working. Some comedians can take it further, but they got a particular act that does that. Like your Stuart Lees and all this kind of thing. It just kind of really drives something into the ground because that's the ridiculousness of the nature of the joke. But do it in 3s, get the fuck out. This just keeps hitting you with it because it thinks you didn't understand it.
Yeah.
Because what happens is in every single one of those gags, and that's when I actually got quite cross with it, was that the actual gag was piss poor. The fact that they had to point out to you who this person was or what the gag was based on, the fact that they literally had the female lead hold onto a crystal skull, go, this is a crystal skull, we have to put it on an idol, we have to replace it on an idol. The guy goes, why is that? And she goes, because I saw it in Indiana Jones and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Shortly after, the Indiana Jones replacement kid guy appears. And it's just like, how many times do you have to pump that fucking button that says, this is an Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull joke? Firstly, by having the crystal skull, then saying where it's from, and then saying, oh, look, here's the Indiana Jones, and he's going to put the crystal skull on the idol. It's like, wow. I mean, when we do comedies on this podcast, when we review them, I always think the worst thing is trying to over-explain a comedy because you kind of rob it of its humour. But that's exactly what this film does.
Well, okay, look at Airplane and the way they deal with certain things on there. And if these guys were making Airplane nowadays, instead of the disco bit where it is taking off Saturday Night Fever, not once is that mentioned. You just know, you just get it. And if you're not aware of it, it's still enjoyable to watch because there's amusing things happening, like spinning around and grabbing people by the hands and stuff like that, and throwing people off.
And a pirate being stabbed in the back, and she thinks he's doing a dance with his thumbs behind his back. While the knife's sticking out.
Yes. It's an amusing thing on many different levels. If you've seen Saturday Night Fever or you're aware of it, then you got it. If you're not aware of it, then once you see Saturday Night Fever or see a video of the Bee Gees, you'll get it. And then you'll get more enjoyment out of it. This lot would have turned around and said, oh, look, there's a disco. Is that the Bee Gees? I wonder where they're going. What is the date today? Oh, it is Saturday. Is it after 6 o'clock? Yes, it is the night. Oh, well, this must be like a Saturday night parody type thing. Okay, let's follow them into the discotheque. And then it would have carried on.
And then they would have just gone, John Travolta? And then someone dressed as John Travolta would have stood there, tried to do a dance, and then just fallen over. And that would be it.
And then do it 3 more times.
Yeah. Whereas Airplane is really subtle, and you get the enjoyment of not knowing and then learning later on. It's got so much more going for it than this. This is, as I said, patchwork quilt of this is a sticker, this is about that, this is about that. And also where they're trying to make it funny, where they're trying to infuse little things where you laugh, like taking a crystal skull out of a lady's tuppence. Oh, really? Was it up there? Oh, that's a funny place to keep it. I can't see how that is funny.
It's actually funnier the way you describe it, to be honest, because, frankly, describing a part of a lady's body as a tuppence is always amusing.
But it's just not... I'm lost for words on this one. I really am.
The thing is, where the great parody movies work, like Young Frankenstein, Airplane... even the really good carry-ons, it might be like Cowboy and Screaming, and the Naked Gun films, they work because they are, and Shaun of the Dead as well for that matter, they are completely parodying not just a concept, but a whole story. They're making a movie in that vein that's very close to other movies and other stories you've seen, and they know all the story beats and the structure. And they get away with having these homages and, references and parodies, like the Saturday Night Fever thing. That's just worked in beautifully as a flashback, as part of the character's backstory in a way that's natural and on point for the period, and it just works really well. It doesn't feel it segues into it and it segues out of it, and they give themselves narrative space to do these things. Whereas this, they don't have a story. They don't even know what disaster movies they're parodying. You know what I mean? The nearest we get, a few crap meteors fall. And, there's no love, there's no care. I mean, I know kind of bad costumes are funny, but, like, honestly, I was looking at some of the costumes and going, where did you get this? I think the wardrobe people had a fucking laugh. They just spent all the money on coke and hookers. They went down to a charity shop and a joke shop to make the Batman and the Iron Man costumes. You know what I mean? It was like,
God, yeah.
What was that? Was it Iron Hero? Really shit.
Metal Hero. I actually did a review of that.
Yeah, that had a better Iron Man costume than this.
Yeah, it did.
And they're not parody versions of the costume, are they? They're just terrible costumes.
Yeah, but again, it's that. I mean, that's the thing. It's that lack of love. It's like they're not parodying a genre or a story or a narrative. I mean, the best parody homage, in my opinion, of all of them is Young Frankenstein, because it shows absolute love for the source material. It shows absolute adoration for the actual story, the Bride of Frankenstein, the original James Whale things. They even shoot it like James Whale. Everything is meticulous and it has care and love poured on it, because it's literally made by someone who loved the originals and is making jokes at it for people who enjoy that type of film. And it is just, and that love comes through. So even if you didn't get the jokes, you're still watching a version of a really beautifully rendition version of, a 1940s fucking Universal horror movie. And you have to just admire it from that point of view. And this fucking disaster movie, literally, the bit I was... The best way of describing it was literally to read it out in a monotone voice as to what happens, because that is essentially the script. And all you do is you look at the poster. So, like, I'm looking at the poster right now, yeah? And the poster literally is... Hellboy stands there. He holds a gun. Miley Cyrus stands there. She's singing for a bit. There are 4 people behind. They are pretending to be Sex in the City people. There is a fight. There is a lady who's pretending to be Juno from the film Juno. She's pregnant. There is Kung Fu Panda. There are some chipmunks. And there is a falling cow. That's it. I've literally just described to you the entire movie and the jokes.
Pretty much.
Yeah, just by looking at the poster. And there is no humour in that other than to go, I recognise that. I recognise that. That's not a joke. That's literally... The joke is literally making someone pay to watch this fucking nonsense.
Actually, the crowning stupidity for me, it's something Teresa pointed out. At the end, they go to the museum, okay? It's the Natural History Museum. What are Egyptians doing in natural history? Why is Beowulf in a museum? You don't even understand what the Natural History Museum is.
No.
Everything all the things in that thing are fucking wrong.
I think what it's
and I have
parodying...
no right being in there.
No.
I think what it might be parodying there is Night at the Museum.
Well, that's what it was trying to do. And then even then they couldn't just do it. They literally just did some bloke wandering around in a mummy costume, Beowulf, someone wandering around in a cowboy costume chasing after a Native American, looking pretty rapey for all intents and purposes, and then just goes, wow, this is just like Night at the Museum. You remember that movie, Night at the Museum? It's like, yeah, we got it when it all started happening. In fact, I predicted it before it actually happened. And it's like, and they're going, yeah, but, just like Night at the Museum, all the things are coming to life. It's like, for fuck's sake. I'm actually watching the film. I can see that the items have come to life. You even had a scene with footprints of the dinosaur that was in the middle of the room. The dinosaur has gone. You don't need to explain it any further than that. But you actually literally have your characters go, it's just like Night at the Museum.
Now they're telling you which parodies they're doing.
Exactly. And it's like those fucking actors being various different characters. It's literally them having to have other characters turn around and go, it's Miley Cyrus, because you wouldn't know it was Miley Cyrus, because it looks nothing like Miley Cyrus.
Exactly.
You're 20 years too old. Don't wish to be unkind, but you know what I mean? If you're going to parody it, at least cast somebody.
Yeah. It's like
who might resemble the person, for Christ's sake.
Exactly. And then you've got that whole bit when he wakes up in the bed next to his girlfriend, and then she pulls back the covers, and there's some black dude standing there with a clock around his cock. They go, Flavor Flav? And he goes, yeah, boy, Flavor, and then leaves. And it's like, that's the joke?
Yeah, why was that there?
Yeah, what is that joke? What is that a joke? It's actually anti-humour. It's literally the antichrist of humour. It's just...
Like I said, black void. Black void. Void. It's a void. It's a void. Sucky void.
Yeah.
I've never liked these types of movies. Well, I like the aeroplane and stuff like that, but ever since they did Scary Movie, and it was just, no, these aren't for me at all.
But the thing is, it's actually missing. The thing is, what they've done is they've looked at Airplane, they've looked at Naked Gun, and they've missed the point so badly that if they fired a tennis ball at the moon, they'd fucking hit the Andromeda Galaxy. They wouldn't hit fucking the moon at all. And what they've done is they've looked at the fact that, as you say, there's little nods to other films, like Saturday Night Fever. Or at the very beginning of Airplane with the fucking fin of the plane going through the clouds and it goes doo-doo-dum, doo-doo-dum. But what they've done is they've taken what is essentially a 5-second throwaway gag and turned it into a 1 hour and 45-minute gag, which you didn't find funny in the first place, and then they hammer it into the ground.
Yeah.
Because it's not a gag. It's just a case of recognition. And that's it. I mean, I feel like I could make one of these movies with some costumes, in 5 minutes. I literally could. Mm-hmm. I could dress you up in a Ghostbusters costume, Elton, and have you just walk in and go, anyone seen a ghost? And then just have something gooey fall on your head.
Yep.
That'll be it. Then you don't have to be in it anymore. Jim, you can come in and you can be dressed up as Boris Johnson, and you can come in and go, I'm a cunt, and everyone goes, yes, and then you just leave. Darren, you can come in, you can say, hey, I've got coronavirus, and you can cough and cough and cough, fall over, and I'll just look and go, oh, he's got coronavirus. Meanwhile, I'll be stuck in a lorry on the M20 having a shit. And that'll be it. And we'll call that 2020 disaster movie.
There you go.
There you go, done.
That'd be funnier than them.
In fact, it fucking well would, to be honest. But, there wouldn't need to be a plot. You just need to have things people recognise. And only recognise in that particular year. And it's just absolute tedious fucking cockwomble. It's just total shit.
Well, also, what I kind of annoyed about this film, there's quite a few things I didn't get, and a few I did, but purely by chance. And I thought a lot of this is very fucking parochial. You know what I mean? It's really, I know your audience, but it was very narrow. I mean, were you guys familiar with the Head-On advert that they parodied?
No. Oh no! What with the princess rubbing what looked like a chapstick over her forehead?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know.
No, that is a real. Is kind of one of the classic bad adverts of American TV, and cause I saw it on was it a rather fun YouTube channel called We Like All Adverts, who look at adverts and take the piss. And it is the advert is one of the cheapest things where it is Head-On. It is exactly as you said. Apply the strip to the forehead, and the actual advert is that, and it just repeats it 4 times, and then it cuts to a chronic thing, then repeats it again, and that's it. And when they did it, I did sort of start to laugh because oh yeah, I've already done it. Do it again, head on, bitch. And then, but then it sort of went nasty and it just flogged it to death. It was kind of. But I thought, I know that purely by happenstance. Anyone outside, the US who was watching TV, when this movie came out for that particular year, that'll be lost on you. And that's something that you don't get, that kind of misfire in your Airplanes or your Shaun of the Deads or your Young Frankensteins, because they know kind of these topical references are very narrow, and they exclude people.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no kind of references in Airplane that you don't get now. You know what I mean? Even if you haven't seen the old airport movies, you don't have to, because it's just something you absorb through pop culture. They're not playing, on anything that specific or that niche.
Yeah, well, I mean, you bring up Shaun of the Dead, and that's a fantastic parody, because it is every zombie movie you've ever seen, because it is that whole thing of the zombie outbreak happens. They, friends and strangers alike have to work together, and then what they do is they go to somewhere that they feel safe, or the nearest place, and then they hold up, and disaster ensues as they get stuck inside and hemmed in. And it's, it's Dawn of the Dead, it's Night of the Living Dead, it's Day of the Dead, it's fucking Return of the Living Dead. It's all these movies are all in its DNA. Right down to the, every single last bit, but it's made with love, because the people making this have seen their fair share of all of these movies, and they know that everyone watching this film has. If I was to show disaster movie to my parents, apart from them disowning me, they wouldn't have a first fucking clue what any of that stuff meant, apart from maybe Batman. Because they don't know who Miley Cyrus is, they don't know who Alvin and the Chipmunks are, they have no idea what Sex and the City is, they've never once watched a fucking single Indiana Jones movie other than Raiders of the Lost Ark. So they've never seen Night at the Museum. I mean, so this entire film would just sail right past them. Whereas if you watch, I don't know, like I say, Shaun of the Dead, they might not have watched those zombie movies, but it's a movie about a guy dealing with a zombie outbreak, not just random pictures of people just going, hello. I mean, it's like a fucking variety act. It was literally just some random cock who's just wandering off the street, gone, hello, I'm a Dalek. And then like, right, bye.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like, fuck off. Every single last bit of this just made me want to go, fuck off. Every single bit. Oh, It was tedious fucking rubbish. And the worst bit is that this podcast, as wonky as it's been this week, because, let's be honest, we've varied wildly on tone in certain parts, has been 100 times fucking funnier than this piece of shit that we sat and watched for an hour and 45 minutes. And I just don't get how these movies got made. I just don't get it. In fact, I wasn't going to do any feedback for this podcast for this particular episode, because obviously we like to have feedback the week after, but we're going to have 2 weeks off and then come back fresh for 2021. So I will say this, that Michael Wilding said, I think Lee has won Sadvent, as this was the worst piece of shite of all time, and how was this even made? And I think he's right. Murray Christensen said, you should play Guess the Year based on the outdated pop culture references. I mean, what year is it? I'm saying 2008 because I've seen the IMDb, but really? I mean, I've got no other reference to that other than the IMDb page.
Oh, I would, Hannah Montana's got to be mid-2000s.
Do you know what? If you do find out which year it is, can you please let me know? Because when I build my time machine, I just want to scratch this bit out this year that's come from. Much like 2020, I just want to. I like stick a spoon in it or something so that the machine can't go back there. There are certain time zones that I just don't want anything to do with, and that's my new favourite one now.
But I tell you what, just looking at these guys, the guys who wrote this, it's very interesting to see what's going on here. Because I'm looking at all the movies they've made, and then how much the budget is, and how much they make worldwide. All right, and you can tell what it is. It's actually the subject they pick. So like sometimes when we look at our podcast and we look at this podcast and we look at how many people listen, and we go, people listen based on what film they want to listen about us talking about, which is fair enough. And if you look at this, you've got Scary Movie, and it made 278 million quid. Right?
What?
Yeah, Scary Movie did, from a budget of 19 million. Yeah, but then as you get to movies like Disaster Movie, it's going down. The budget stays the same, so they make $20 million movies. And then when you get to like Starving Games, because disaster, Hunger Games, Starving Games. They've got a budget of $4.5 million, and they only made 3. And then their latest one they released, which we have not reviewed and we have no intention of reviewing, called Superfast. Guess what that's based on?
Oh, would that be the Fast and the Furious?
Oh, could it be? Oh, I don't know. It could be. But anyway, so that's just come out. That had a budget of 20 million, has made 2 million. And the other one, which is Best Night Ever, which is based on all those kind of, ladies go wild in Las Vegas kind of things.
Yeah, the Hangover and stuff like that.
Yeah, that kind of thing, which is a mistake. That had a budget that isn't even listed, and it's only made 200 grand.
Ouch.
So if there's any justice in this world, they won't get to a Star Wars movie, which they're trying to parody, because it wouldn't have Star Wars as a parody anyway. It'd probably just start off with being in space, and then suddenly out of nowhere, fucking Donald Trump will be a Donald Trump impersonator will appear. He'll probably look like Kojak, but they'll just go, "Look, it's Donald Trump," or something like that. It's just tedious fucking bollocks.
Well, there's been a parody of. They're not going to top Spaceballs, are they?
Well,
no, they're not going to top Spaceballs. These people are not going to top Spaceballs. Doesn't matter what you think of Spaceballs, it's not going to be better than Spaceballs.
Top Spaceballs.
No,
they'll not top most playground jokes about how Han Solo, Princess Leia.
Yeah, exactly.
That'll be wittier than anything they come up with.
Yeah,
that'd be like fucking Shakespeare.
Yeah, or those endless double entendres with people going, "You came in that thing, you're braver than I thought." Yeah, I mean, Jesus, no, they wouldn't be able to top anything like that. But hopefully, they won't ever get work again, because this was fucking awful. It really was. I genuinely have never felt so apologetic for inflicting a piss poor movie on people as this. I genuinely I felt so bad. I've never felt so bad in all my life.
So can we rate the 4 that we've just done then?
Well, yeah, Sadvent. Let's do it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, good idea. So we had Voyage. So we had Voyage of the Rock Aliens, didn't we?
Oh,
then
God.
we had Disaster Movie. We had Jim's one, which was
Stalking
Santa. Yeah, Stalking Santa. And then we had Freddy Got Fingered.
Right, okay. Well, I'm putting the vote in there. I'm saying that Stalking Santa was the best one out of the lot of them.
Okay.
Right.
Jim?
I'd go Santa, Rock Aliens,
Okay.
This Shite, Freddy Got Fingered.
Oh, right. Okay. So
Although the more I've talked about this film, the more it has annoyed me. So they're joint botter.
Joint third.
Yeah.
Okay. So okay. Darren's got Stalking Santa first. What
Right.
about
Yeah.
what's your second, third, and fourth?
Okay, so second. They said, what was it? It was the other
Voyage
one.
of the Rock Aliens, Freddy Got Fingered, and Disaster Movie.
Okay, so first is Stalking Santa. Second, Voyage of the Rock Aliens. And joint eighth would be this and Freddy Got Fingered.
Nice.
Yeah, don't even go there about, well, we only reviewed 4 minutes. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
What about you, Elton?
Stalking Santa was head and shoulders the best one out of these 4. I don't know why, but last week's one, that Voyage of the Rock Aliens, only because the other two are absolute fucking pigsties. I would have to say I'd rather watch Freddy Got Fingered than this, though.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go with you, actually, Elton. I think Stalking Santa, I mean, I wasn't a great fan of it, but it was head and shoulders above everything else here.
Yeah.
Voyage of the Rock Aliens would have been second for me as well, because it's just kooky and crazy, and that fucking Mark of the Beast, or whatever it's called, that's the Beast song just had us all in fits. So more so than any of the other films either. But yeah, I to be quite honest, it's strange to say, but I would choose Freddy Got Fingered over Disaster Movie only because it actually made me feel something other than abject contempt. Because Freddy Got Fingered, I just sat there feeling completely puzzled about all of it. Just like, what am I watching here? And just genuinely gulping at a lot of it. But Disaster Movie, like I say, had absolute contempt. It was just absolute contempt for the audience, for humour, for films in general, for attention span. It just was so. And I don't mean to say mean-spirited by comparison to Freddy Got Fingered, which was very mean-spirited, but it was just so utterly bereft of any empathy and any kind of quality whatsoever. You know, even down to the fact that I thought at first it was a gag about the stunt doubles, you know, where you could clearly see a stunt double instead of the actual actor doing things. But they kind of do it once, that they kind of acknowledge that the stunt doubles are actually so different, but only just to do a sort of racist joke that the princess's stunt double is a sort of goofy black guy. But yeah, I have to say I would much rather watch Freddy Got Fingered if I had a gun to my head. Not that I'd watch it anyway, but if I had a gun to my head, I would watch Freddy Got Fingered over Disaster Movie any day of the week. So there you go. Yeah, so I think that's it. So out of all of Sadvent, Stalking Santa, congratulations, Jim. You've won Sadvent. Or lost Sadvent. I don't know which way we're marking this. You either lost it, but
it's
won
confusing.
it. Or
everything's topsy-turvy in this new world.
Exactly. Or I won it by losing it, because I made clearly the worst decision ever. We are never watching another one of those films ever again. Friedberg and Seltzer can just go fucking do one. Unless there's some charity thing and we do it live and we watch along live. But otherwise, there's no way I'm ever watching another one of those films ever again.
Can't we do a charity one where we actually watch a film that we really like?
Could do, couldn't we? I mean, but where's the fun in that?
This is true.
So, having said that, because I do a show commentary club where we alternately watch a classic, a cult, and a crap movie. The classic movies actually are good to commentate because there's often so many stories to tell about not just the making of, but where you first saw them, your connection with it. It's easier than reviewing a good movie because it's a different ball game. So doing a film you like, you find you'd be struggling to get in everything you want to say, is what we always find.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be doing for charity, I will be watching Akira. Everyone else, no!
Oh, no, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, but the problem is we can't talk over it. because we'll be all reading the subtitles.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. I missed it. Rewind it.
What did he say? Anyway, so anyone got any last thoughts on this piece of shit?
Stick it in a bin. Pour petrol on it and set the fucker alight.
Okay. Well, on the plus side, 2021 can't get any worse, can it? At this point, I mean,
excuse me. There are still, let's see how many. There's still fucking 8 or 9 days to go. So anything can happen in the next half hour.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay, cool. Well, there you go. I mean, I'll wrap it up there, I think. So, if anyone has sadly watched this film, and don't worry, I'm not giving anyone any refunds or anything. It was your own choice. This is a Boris Johnson move. I'm telling you what to watch, but you take your own responsibility for watching it. But if anyone did and wants to leave feedback, do send it in to feedback@blackdogpodcast.com, or leave it on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/the Black Dog Podcast, or tweet me at the Black Dog at Black Dog Podcast. Or you can go onto the actual webpage for the podcast and leave a message underneath the episode. Just go to blackdogpodcast.com and just go to the episode and just leave a message there. You can get in contact with us through that. So that's the end of Disaster Movie. That's the end of Sadvent. That's the end of 2020 for the Black Dog Podcast as far as reviewing movies is concerned. We won't be doing a recap of the year because, quite frankly, nothing's come out of the cinema that we haven't seen, unless you want to count us just reviewing movies from January right through to the start of March.
We've all been indoors. What do you want to review on? God damn it.
Exactly, for fuck's sake. It's only going to be the same as this episode. It's just be us going, shit, what we watched. So we will be back next year on the 5th of January. We'll be recording, and it will be Elton's turn. So Elton, tell us what we have got for the first movie of 2021. No pressure.
Well, next year we're starting off with something completely different. Not quite a musical. Over the months and years, we've neglected someone. We've overlooked someone. Nay, we have forgotten about someone.
Dre?
As Slim Shady said, we forgot about Dre. Thank you, Jim. Next time out, we are doing Straight Outta Compton.
What?
Hey.
Okay.
Say, hold on, sorry. I think I blacked out for a minute. Can you start that again? What did you say?
What? Straight Outta Compton?
Yes.
So what's he talking about there? Who rattled his cage?
What? Wow. Okay.
Anyone seen it?
No.
Straight
Enjoy.
Outta Compton.
Yeah.
I think I have. I lose track. I did watch a lot of these at the time, and I always get them confused between this and Colours and.
Isn't Straight? What?
Straight Outta Compton. I remember him when he was knee high. He still is knee high, motherfucker.
Right. So the history of NWA.
Yes, that's it. Yes.
Right. Okay.
I've said it, and that's what we're doing.
It's on Netflix, apparently.
It is on Netflix. Yes.
Okay. Well, if you're going to start with a new year and a new approach,
it's better than my last choice. Trust me.
Well, let's be honest. It couldn't be worse, could it?
It could not be worse. No.
I mean, I tried. I think I succeeded.
But I'm hoping you guys will be pleasantly surprised.
Okay. Well, to be quite honest, my knowledge of NWA only stems from the various members in it and the films they were in after they were in NWA. So, this is going to be an interesting one, I think.
Yeah.
Darren, have you seen this?
No. No.
You looking forward to seeing this?
I suppose it's I suppose I mean I like music biopic type things.
I thought you knew I like music.
I like music.
I like big butts and I cannot lie.
Yeah. No, it's the wrong group, mate.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Okay, I will be honest with you. This is going to sound like I reckon that us reviewing this is going to sound like everyone's mum trying to recount the story of Star Wars. And first, you see, there were some people, and then what they did was they got together, and there were some robots and things. And, yeah. So, okay then. Well,
there's no robots in this.
No, I guess there's no robots in Straight Outta Compton.
Any Roberts?
Yeah. So there you go. Well, it's got 93% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. No, 89% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. 93 on Google. And nearly 8 out of 10 on IMDb. So that's a heads and shoulders above disaster movie. So we're as Yaz once said, to use my music credentials, the only way is up.
Nice.
God, look at me down with the kids. So
yeah.
Okay, well there you go, Elton. I think it's an interesting choice. We should
trust me.
Okay.
Trust me.
I am trusting you. I mean, last time I trusted you, we got Freddy got fingered, but I'm trusting you.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Right. Well, there you go. So next time when we return in 2021, we will be Straight Out of Compton. Yeah, boy. Yeah, I hear that. You hear me? Right. Anyway, so before we go,
Yo, Skindle Blood, you get my drift?
Oh God, no!
Hey, I love a baby sham.
Oh, yes. Oh, sorry. I'm thinking just one step ahead of this film, right? Okay. So I've got an answer movie for that. I've got an answer movie for Straight Outta Compton.
And you know what? As well, with the 2-week lead up to this,
yeah,
gives you time to do an intro.
What, for this?
Yeah.
You fucking kidding. So you're breaking tier lockdown to come around my house and do it then, are you?
Oh goodness, no.
Do you know what? I don't think it would be wise of me to try and do a rap.
No.
No, I think we could do Sir Ian McKellen does fuck the police. And that's it.
Yeah, and now the Christmas Christmas message from Her Majesty the Queen.
Yes.
Well, fuck the police. Fuck the police.
Easy is his name, and the boy is coming straight out of Compton. He's a brother that will smother your mother and make your sister think I love her. Dangerous motherfucker raising hell. And if I ever got caught, I'd make bail.
Nice. I think we should leave it there. Right.
I think
so.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go. We'll go out in a blaze of glory. Right. Okay. So.
Hello, cancellation.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. So. Right. Well. Before we go. Let's find out what's happening in the land of Hypnagoria. Jim, do you want to tell us what's going on?
I will. I remember.
How many boozes?
No, it's lots of boozes.
Lots of boozes.
I'm a man of leisure for a few weeks. We drink in the afternoon, just like the old days.
Yeah. It's got to be midday somewhere.
It's always midday somewhere. That's the rules. Yes, I've just released my last Christmas show, which is on the From the Great Library of Dreams podcast, which is reading of one of the oldest Christmas ghost stories ever, which goes back at least to the 13th century, recounting events that happened in maybe the 9th or the 11th.
Wow.
In Iceland.
Right.
And me, keeping on the Nordic theme, on Hypnagoria, for my big Christmas special, I've released a new chapter in the In Search of Santa series, looking at the, frankly, quite terrifying Norwegian Santas, of which there are 13, and have a cannibal troll mother and a killer cat for a pet.
Right, okay. Well, there you go. Merry Christmas, everyone. Cool. Okay, and that's already out, is it, or is it?
Yep, these are all out at hypnagoria.com, where Brilliant. You can find them all and play with the Advent calendar and find all the Christmas podcasts and other good stuff as well.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. And what about you, Elton? What's going on in Rogue Squadron, Rogue 2 Network?
Nothing at the moment. It's far too busy in real life to get anything done at the moment. So nothing's out there. I would just say to the listeners, please pop along to the Apple, iTunes, whatever it is that you use, and give the Black Dog a review.
Oh, thank you, Charles. Cheers, dude. Cool. And you still have to give me a Christmas card, though. You can't get away with it just by doing that.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. Right, okay. Darren, what about you, sir?
What about me?
Oh, I don't know. Are you doing anything?
What about
fucking
me?
Karaoke live on YouTube? What the fuck are you doing?
I don't know.
That'd be a good one, wouldn't it?
Celebrating Christmas, I suppose.
Okay. That's fair enough.
Eating turkey. Opening
Live Craft Corners on YouTube?
Yeah. Darren's Craft Corner, a YouTube channel.
Well, I do have my box of Lego now.
Nice. I think you should. I think you should. You do a little live YouTube making something out of Lego. It'll be utterly shit, and I'll stick fucking. Well, it won't be shit because it'll be one of your masterpieces, and I'll just stick.
It will be an absolute masterpiece.
I'll just stick Left Bank on there, and you'll
as long as it's a jet fighter, we're fine.
Or a gun.
Or a gun.
Cool.
Crazy motherfucker called Ice Cube.
Yeah, it could be.
In Lego. Yeah, can you make the whole of NWA in Lego for us? As your opening,
I could try.
Gambit.
I could try.
Cool. Okay. We'll look forward to that. Right, and for me, yes, I am also doing double shifts on this week's episode of The Great Derelict, where Andy and my other Space Doc Jury host, Pete Organ, Reverend Pete, we got together to just do essentially what we do in the pub, a catch-up, sci-fi geeky catch-up. Unfortunately, as is always the way with a pub catch-up, the wheels came off and I got a bit ranty about Superman and Justice League and something else, which I can't talk about because it might be a spoiler now. But anyway, so there you go. So you can find that over at greatderelict.libsyn.com. And and that's it, really. So, ladies and gentlemen out there in the audience, stay safe, wear a mask, don't fuck up everyone's Christmas by being an absolute knob-end, don't go hunting down for fucking lettuces just because, you know what, you might need a lettuce in 6 months' time and the bus might not have cleared. Fucking, I don't know.
You can't get a lettuce, remember, you should have voted Romaine.
Oh, God.
And there you go. Jim's held it in reserve all the way to the end, to the last podcast, and he fucking does it. Blows it out of the water. Right, okay, well, in which case, I think we can just leave it there then. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Elton.
No problem.
You're welcome.
And thank you to everyone for listening. Thank you to everyone for supporting us and coming back to listen to us after I basically blew up the fucking Death Star last time and we returned in May. So it's great to be back this year. It's good to be back doing this, and I'm enjoying it. I hope everyone's enjoying listening to it and being part of it. And we shall see you in 2021. Have a great Christmas as much as you can, stuck inside and not being able to even open the letterbox. And keep sucking on that pasta. It will eventually melt because you won't have any other food. Until then, anyway, we'll see you in 2021. Thanks again, and take care. Tatty bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ta-da.
Oh, bollocks to it.